So here's where we're at. We've got our piece cut out. As you can see, the hot knife does a pretty good job on those edges. That's going to be the top of the top piece, and once it's painted black, you know, you won't even see any of those little burrs or anything. Here you can see, you know, some little junk in the corner there. So for that, I would just take my sharp scissors and just give it a little bit of trimmage. And then these parts here, they're going to get more pieces added in. Now I've gone ahead and cut all of my other pieces, and as you can see, that's going to fit in there. So really the only part we're worried about is the first couple millimeters of this inside piece, and so that it'll look nice. So if there's any little bits of junk like that, you can either use your fingernails to scrape it off or your scissors, just so it's not going to be showing through on your final product. As you can see, I've grown a couple of my fingernails a little bit longer so that I can pinchy pinch and get rid of any junk that I don't want in there. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do these mountain folds here. And as you can see, if I go like this, it's not going to work very good. And you can get it to glue, but then it's not going to have a very nice shape. So what we're going to do is on the other side, we're going to cut it. So, let's flip your pattern over. That way you can get precise points as to where you're going to put your lines. And I'm just going to put little marks there, and then again, you can the spike works good for these spots right here. Any kind of inside piece, you can just poke your pin through. Now you've got a nice accurate guideline. Okay, and so you line up. See, I've got my 2 points there, and then just lightly, maybe a millimeter, just cut yourself a line there. That's just going to be your guideline. And do the same thing right there. Okay. Now the next thing, this is why I have one of these, is you can set your depth of how far you're going to cut through the foam. Now if you want it to appear more rounded like, you'll cut less through. If you want it to appear more sharper, and if you want to grab another piece here, let's see. My shin piece here. For these ones here, if you want it to appear like that, I cut about 3/4 of the way through. If you want it more rounded, now this one here I wanted a sharper definition, so I cut almost all the way through, about 7/8 of the way through. And then if you want it less, you just want it rounded. Like this I used a heat gun for, but if you don't have a heat gun, you can score the back side of it quite a few times lightly, maybe 1 or 2 mil through, and then bend it into shape with your hands. It's a matter of personal preference. I like to use the heat gun, works best. So for these ones here, where's my other piece that is? That's going to be these folds right here. So they're not too sharp in definition, so we're only going to go about halfway through the foam. So I'm going to set my blade depth, and there we go. Just like that. Once you get your blade depth, tighten it up, and then you just run it over the lines lightly, and until it just glides nicely through, and you'll have your... I don't push down when I'm doing this because I don't want to go farther than the depth. I just pull it along until it's cut all the excess off. There we go. Looking good. Good. There we go. And there you can see it's cut through about halfway. The next thing we're going to do is to get our fold, we're going to cut some of the excess away. Now what I was doing is I was cutting like a V shape here and here, and but then you can get a, I don't know, kind of a wavy definition line. So what I find is it just cut on one side, like that angle on the one side. So you take your hot knife, you can use an X-Acto if you want. I prefer hot knife, it's easier. And you're just going to cut through at an angle, and you can line it up how I'm lining up the hot knife here. Hopefully you can see that. I'll just line it up so the tip of the hot knife is about halfway through, so it's going to be at the same depth as the line you've made, and hold it at about a 45-degree angle or so. And again, depending on your angle, if you want to make it you make your angle sharper, you'll get a deeper definition, and if you hold your angle at less of an angle, then you'll get a more rounded definition. So we're just going to do a 45 on this one, because that's easy. And you just like that. And again, my talon fingernails. Okay. So there you can see I've got a nice definition line here, but the piece itself will now fold and give you a nice edge there. Right there. Seamless. Now here I've cut my piece. This is where the definition is on the actual piece itself. The finished product. And I'm going to do the same thing all the way around here. I'm just going to 45 it off. There we go. Now for this spot here, right in there, when we go to put our piece together, what's going to happen is you get a little bump there. So if you don't cut enough out of there, you get an ugly little bump. So what I always recommend is just scrape a little bit extra out of there. Don't go all the way through, of course. And you can even do a little bit on the other side. And that way, because that's the material right there that's going to be pushing against it. So as you can see there now, I've gouged a little bit of extra out. And then we're going to finish off this way. One more definition line. Halfway through to 45. Just like the rest of it. Zinc. There we go. Clean it up a little bit. Get the junk bits out. There we go. Good stuff. There you have it. So I'm going to put it together now. See that? Now we've still got to shape the piece, but ultimately it's that line there and that one there, and that's going to be how we get our nice angle there, the underside of your forearm bit. Okay.
That was easy.